things now that we know involve no joking. Nobody can joke about assignments and nobody can joke about release. So what does this imply? That there are certain elements of this society that are so serious that they can't even be joked about. Okay. Similarly, how would it feel if a committee chose your profession for you? Now, in some families, there's somewhat of a tradition. Maybe some people are thought to follow in their father's footsteps by joining the Navy. Maybe there's 3, 4, 10 generations of men or women in a family that join the Navy or the Army or any armed forces. Maybe there's the expectation that you're going to become a doctor because your mother and father are doctors. Maybe there's an expectation that you go to a certain college because your parents are alumni. Whatever it is, how does that feel if you are expected to behave in a certain very restrictive way? Okay, what does that say about the path of your life and the freedom to choose that path? How would it feel like if you were stuck in a position without any choice whatsoever, and that's how the rest of your life is going to go? So think about that and think about how Jonas may be feeling, not knowing what position he's going to get and whether or not he's going to be happy in that position. Moving down to the next page in the highlighted section here, Jonas nodded. During the past year, he had been aware of the increasing level of observation. In school, at recreation time, and during volunteer hours, he had noticed the elders watching him and the other 11s. He had seen them taking notes. He knew, too, that the elders were meeting for long hours with all of the instructors that he and the other 11s had during their years of school. So this is one of those characteristics of a dystopia where the characters are believed to be under constant surveillance. In this case, it's outward surveillance. Okay, Jonas knows he's being watched. You know, in other chapters, we're going to see hints about the level of surveillance. In chapter 1, we have the announcement over the loudspeaker where they're getting messages from this, elder, I guess, a person that is watching what's happening in the community and then highlighting that person's transgression. So if nobody was watching, how would they know if the plane illegally overflew the community? Okay. Similarly, with the telling of feelings, the sharing of feelings, that's a level of surveillance within the family household. So the parents are surveilling their children and their children's behavior through their feelings and thoughts, and they're surveilling each other. So one spouse is really keeping the other spouse in check, making sure that they're following the rules based on what they talk about. So there's many levels of surveillance in this community. How would your life be different? How would your behavior be different if you felt like you were always being watched? What things would you be doing or not doing if there was an accountability based on somebody knowing each moment of your life? And on page 22. Well, it's the last of the ceremonies, as you know. After 12, age isn't important. Most of us even lose track of how old we are as time passes, though the information is in the Hall of Open Records. And we can go and look it up if we wanted to. What's important is the preparation for adult life and the training you'll receive in your assignment. So again, with this, thinking about birthdays, after 12, they have no idea even how old they are, which means there's no fanfare, there's no celebration, there's no milestones. You are just simply an adult working in your assignment for the rest of your life. Okay. So how does time pass like that? Okay. If there's no milestones to mark it, what does that say about the daily life and the passage of time? And think about major milestones in your own life. You know, there's the major milestone of when you've gotten your phone. Maybe it's a certain year in your household, 6th grade, 8th grade, whatever it is, 3rd grade. Is certainly 16 is a major milestone when you can get your driver's license. 18, you're considered an adult. You can vote. 21, you are now legal to drink alcohol. And then you have, the decade milestones, 30, 40, 50. So how do each of those ages define us, and how do we feel special because of them? And then again, this community is lacking in all of those special moments. Okay, so that looks like all of my notes for Chapter 2. Hopefully that gives you a little something to think about. Please check Google Classroom for some discussion questions or directions to discuss on Google Classroom that go along with the details that I have pulled out of this chapter. Hopefully, as we go through this uncomfortable process of learning at home and teaching from home, it will get a little bit easier and feel a little less awkward. At least hopefully it'll feel less awkward for me talking to my computer as my children are downstairs giggling at me and thinking I'm ridiculous. Alrighty, have a great day, guys. I'll check in with you tomorrow.